This video will serve as a summary for AWS Storage Services. First, we start with Amazon S3. S3 is short for Simple Storage Service. The letter S occurs 3 times here, hence we get the name S3. You can think of S3 as that big container in your house where you store everything in, pictures, videos, files, you name it. Now, let's briefly discuss the hierarchy of S3. The first thing you have to create in S3 is called a bucket. The bucket name has to be globally unique in all of AWS, so you cannot create a bucket named Bucket 1 or Bucket 2. These are very simple names and they are probably already taken. Under the bucket, you can create folders, and finally, under folders, you have your storage objects. Those can be your files, pictures, videos, disks, and so on. When you upload an object to S3, you will have to make a choice between one of the following storage classes. First, you have the standard class. You should select standard if you want to frequently access your data. The standard class uses multiple availability zones, so if one data center fails, you still have access to your data. Next, you have the standard IA class. You should select standard IA if you are going to access your data infrequently. The standard IA class also uses multiple availability zones. Next, we have the one zone IA class. One zone IA is similar to standard IA. However, one zone IA is cheaper because it uses only one availability zone, which means if the data center fails, you may lose your data. Next, we have the Glacier class. You should select Glacier to store data that you are rarely going to access. A log archive will be the perfect example for when you should select Glacier. And finally, if you are unsure whether you will access your data infrequently or not, then you should select Intelligent Tiering. Intelligent Tiering automatically assigns your object a storage class that best matches your access pattern. Next, we discuss Amazon Elastic Block Store EBS. EBS is simply a disk storage service. You cannot run a virtual machine without a disk. Same thing for a database. With EBS, you have an option to choose between hard disk drive, HDD, and solid state drive, SSD. Of course, solid state drive is much faster. However, it's also more expensive. Finally, we discuss Amazon Elastic File System, EFS. EFS is a shared file system that uses the NFS protocol. For example, you may have 3 virtual machines that are accessing a file share. The key word here that you have to remember is share. A file share is something that's shared between many devices. And this concludes our summary. Ciao.